The crystalline vessel times Nexus Harmony times drifted silently through the void, its bioluminescent hull pulsing with soft azure light. Inside the observation chamber, Kethara adjusted her sensory tendrils, their translucent tips quivering with anticipation. The Veil Nari had traveled across 17 star systems to reach this unremarkable yellow star, drawn by signals that suggested the presence of a sentient species. Initial scans confirm atmospheric compatibility, announced Velthresh, his four-armed form gracefully manipulating the quantum sensors. Oxygen-nitrogen mixture, surface water, and curious biosignatures. Zinara, the expedition's cultural analyst, floated closer to the viewing portal. Her species, the Ethmori, existed in a state between gaseous and solid, her form constantly shifting like living mist. The electromagnetic patterns suggest complex social structures, but there's something else. Something unexpected. The ship descended through the atmosphere, its cloaking systems ensuring invisibility to the planet's inhabitants. They had learned from previous first contacts that premature revelation often led to chaos among developing civilizations. The Galactic Cooperative had strict protocols for such encounters. As they broke through the cloud layer, the world below revealed itself in stunning detail. Vast blue oceans separated continents, covered in green vegetation, and sprawling urban centers. But what caught their attention were the creatures moving through these settlements. By the Great Convergence, whispered Kethara, her voice carrying harmonics of amazement. Look at those beings. The primary inhabitants walked upright on two legs, their forms lean and graceful. But what fascinated the observers were the four-legged creatures that accompanied them everywhere. These companion animals moved with fluid grace, their bodies covered in fur that ranged from deep black to pristine white, with countless variations in between. They appear to be wolves? Velthresh consulted his biological database, but that cannot be correct. Wolves are apex predators, pack hunters known for their ruthless efficiency. These creatures seem completely docile. The ship's sensors focused on a large open area where hundreds of humans had gathered. Children ran freely among the four-legged companions, their laughter echoing through the air. Some of the larger wolf-like creatures allowed small human offspring to climb upon their backs, their expressions patient and gentle. Observe the interactions, Zinara noted, her form shimmering with curiosity. These predators show no aggression toward the young. In fact, they appear to be protecting them. An elderly human sat on a bench, slowly tossing a spherical object. A golden-furred wolf bounded after it with obvious joy, returning to place the object gently in the human's hands. The cycle repeated endlessly, both participants displaying clear signs of contentment. This defies all known biological imperatives, Kethara muttered, her tendrils curling in confusion. Predators do not engage in non-productive activities for extended periods. They conserve energy for hunting and survival. The Veil Nari had encountered dozens of sentient species throughout their exploration of the galaxy. Each followed predictable patterns of development. Herbivorous species typically evolved into peaceful, contemplative civilizations. Omnivorous species developed complex but often conflicted societies. Carnivorous species usually became aggressive, territorial empires. But this world presented something entirely unprecedented. Velthresh guided the ship over a residential area where individual family units occupied separate dwellings. In nearly every enclosed space, humans coexisted with these domesticated wolves. The predators slept peacefully beside their bipedal companions, showing no signs of the hypervigilance typical of their species. Run a deep scan on one of those settlements, Kethara ordered. I want to understand the nature of this relationship. The sensors focused on a single dwelling, where a female human prepared food in what appeared to be a nutrition preparation area. Two wolf companions sat nearby, their eyes fixed on her movements with obvious anticipation. When she accidentally dropped a piece of raw meat, both predators remained motionless until she gave them permission to consume it. Impossible, breathed Velthresh. These are trained behaviors that contradict millions of years of evolutionary programming. The analysis continued as they observed a young human male returning to his dwelling. The moment he entered, 3 different wolf companions surrounded him with displays of affection that bordered on ecstatic joy. They pressed against his legs, their bodies vibrating with contentment, their faces displaying expressions of pure devotion. They recognize individual humans, Zinara observed. Their emotional responses are highly specific and deeply bonded. This suggests a relationship that extends far beyond simple coexistence. As darkness fell across the continent, the observers witnessed something even more remarkable. In homes throughout the settlement, the wolf companions positioned themselves between the sleeping humans and potential entry points. Without any apparent training or command, they had assumed protective stances. "They're guarding them," Kethara whispered. Apex predators are voluntarily protecting another species during their most vulnerable state. The ship's artificial intelligence provided additional data as the night progressed. Biometric readings indicate that humans sleeping in proximity to these wolf companions show reduced stress hormones and deeper sleep patterns. The relationship appears to provide measurable physiological benefits. Dawn brought new revelations as the team observed morning routines across the settlement. Humans and their wolf companions engaged in synchronized activities that appeared to serve no practical purpose beyond mutual enjoyment. They traveled together through natural areas, the wolves bounding freely while remaining within proximity of their human partners. "Look at their movement patterns," Velthresh noted. The wolves could easily outdistance the humans, yet they consistently moderate their pace to maintain group cohesion. In one particularly intriguing scene, a small human child had wandered too close to a water feature. A large wolf companion immediately positioned itself between the child and the potential danger, then gently guided the youngster back to safety, using only body language and soft vocalizations. The protective instincts extend beyond pack defense, Zinara analyzed. They're actively caring for human offspring as if they were their own. The cultural implications staggered the observers. In their extensive galactic survey, no species had successfully integrated apex predators into their social structure without fundamental genetic modification. The Kethnari had attempted to domesticate the crystal bears of their homeworld for over a millennium before abandoning the project as impossible. Yet here was clear evidence that these humans had not only domesticated wolves but had created a symbiotic relationship of remarkable depth and complexity. As their first day of observation concluded, the team gathered in the ship's analysis chamber to discuss their findings. The room hummed with the quiet energy of their various life support systems, each species requiring different atmospheric conditions. "This changes our understanding of predator-prey dynamics," Kethara began, her tendrils weaving patterns of contemplation. "These humans have achieved something we believed to be biologically impossible." Velthresh consulted his data archives once more. Historical records indicate that such relationships occasionally developed between different species, but they invariably resulted in the predators reverting to their natural behaviors within a few generations. Yet these bonds appear to span multiple human generations, Zinara added. The behavioral modifications in both species seem to be stable and hereditary. The ship's sensors had recorded thousands of individual interactions throughout the day, each one reinforcing the same impossible reality. Wolves that should have been hunting in coordinated packs instead played games with human children. Predators that should have been competing for territory instead shared living spaces with their supposed prey. "We need to understand how this relationship developed," Kethara decided. "And more importantly, what it reveals about human nature." The following days brought additional observations that deepened their confusion. They watched humans engage in activities that seemed specifically designed to benefit their wolf companions. Large areas of land were maintained as open spaces where the predators could run freely. Specialized facilities existed solely for the medical care of these animals. In one remarkable instance, they observed a human risking personal injury to rescue a wolf companion trapped beneath a fallen tree. The human displayed no hesitation despite the obvious danger, working frantically to free the trapped predator. "The devotion appears to be mutual," Velthresh noted. "Both species prioritize the welfare of the other above their own immediate safety." The economic implications alone defied logic. Humans devoted significant resources to feeding, housing, and caring for creatures that provided no apparent productive value. From a purely rational standpoint, maintaining such relationships should have been selected against by evolutionary pressures. Yet the practice was nearly universal. Across continents and cultures, humans formed these bonds with various subspecies of wolves. Some were clearly bred for specific characteristics: increased size for protection, enhanced intelligence for complex tasks, or modified appearances that seem to serve no function beyond aesthetic preference. They're actively directing the evolution of these predators, Zenera realized, but toward cooperation, rather than enhanced hunting efficiency. This revelation opened new questions about human capabilities. Directing evolution required sophisticated understanding of genetics and animal behavior. It suggested a level of scientific knowledge that contradicted the apparent irrationality of maintaining apex predators as companions. The team decided to expand their observations to include human settlements in different geographical regions. Perhaps this phenomenon was limited to specific populations or cultures. Their survey revealed the opposite. From frozen northern territories to tropical islands, humans maintained relationships with wolf companions. The specific breeds varied according to environmental conditions, but the fundamental bond remained constant. In mountainous regions, humans worked alongside larger, more robust wolf companions in coordinated activities that appeared to be hunting expeditions. The predators moved with disciplined precision, responding to subtle human signals in a display of tactical cooperation that impressed even the militaristic Velthresh. Now we see glimpses of their true nature, he observed. These are not mere pets. They're partners in activities that require trust, communication, and shared objectives. Desert regions revealed humans and their wolf companions traversing vast distances together, each species compensating for the limitations of the other. The wolves' superior senses provided early warning of dangers, while human intelligence planned routes and managed resources. Ocean settlements showed humans working with wolf companions bred specifically for water activities. These predators displayed modified behaviors that allowed them to assist in aquatic tasks while maintaining their fundamental wolf characteristics. This is systematic species modification on a planetary scale, Kethara marveled. They've created dozens of specialized varieties while preserving the core predatory genetics. The complexity of the achievement became more apparent as they analyzed the genetic data collected by their sensors. The domesticated wolves retained most of their predatory capabilities, but had developed enhanced social intelligence and reduced aggression toward humans specifically. The modifications are surgical in their precision, Velthresh reported. They've eliminated interspecies aggression while maintaining all other predatory traits. This selectivity suggested understanding of genetics that surpassed what the Galactic Cooperative had achieved with similar projects. The Eth Mori had attempted to domesticate gas-phase hunters for centuries without success. The aggressive instincts proved impossible to separate from the beneficial traits they desired. Yet humans had somehow solved this biological puzzle completely. As their initial survey period drew to a close, the observers found themselves with more questions than answers. The relationship between humans and their wolf companions defied every model of predator-prey interaction in their extensive databases. We need to understand their history, Kethara concluded. How did this impossible relationship begin? Zenara's form shimmered with anticipation. And what does it reveal about the true nature of these humans? The implications extended far beyond simple scientific curiosity. If humans had solved the domestication problem so completely, they possessed capabilities that could revolutionize galactic civilization. Every spacefaring species struggled with the balance between preserving beneficial traits and eliminating destructive ones in their development programs. But as they prepared for deeper investigation, none of the observers suspected that their assumptions about predator and prey were fundamentally incorrect. They could not imagine that the gentle, devoted creatures they observed were not the remarkable success story of this strange relationship. They had not yet realized that the true predators in this partnership were the ones walking on two legs. The ship's sensors continued their silent surveillance as the expedition team planned their next phase of observation. Below them, millions of humans continued their daily lives with their beloved companions, unaware that their most fundamental relationship was being analyzed by beings from beyond their world. And in research facilities hidden beneath those same settlements, human scientists continued their own studies of genetics and behavior, pushing the boundaries of what they believed possible in the endless pursuit of perfecting their partnership with the species they had chosen to walk alongside through their evolutionary journey. The stage was set for revelations that would transform the observer's understanding not just of this strange planet, but of the very nature of intelligence, cooperation, and predation itself. The Times Nexus Harmony Times repositioned itself above a different continent as the expedition team prepared for more intensive study. Velthresh had spent the previous night cycle analyzing behavioral patterns, his forearms dancing across holographic interfaces as he compiled data that challenged every assumption about interspecies relationships. "I've identified 17 distinct subspecies of these domesticated wolves," he reported to his colleagues. "Each has been modified for specific functions, yet all maintain the foundational characteristics of pack predators." Kethara's sensory tendrils quivered with interest as she examined the data streams. "Show me the behavioral variance analysis." The display revealed a complex web of adaptations that boggled their understanding of genetic manipulation. Some wolf companions had been bred for enhanced size and strength, others for increased intelligence and problem-solving abilities. A few showed modifications for specific environmental conditions, while others seemed designed purely for aesthetic qualities that appealed to human preferences. "This level of selective breeding requires deep understanding of hereditary mechanisms," Zinara observed, her gaseous form condensing slightly as she focused on the implications. "They've accomplished in thousands of years what most species require millions to achieve through natural selection." Their new observation zone centered on what appeared to be a training facility, where humans worked with their wolf companions in structured activities. The team watched with growing amazement as predators responded to complex verbal and gestural commands with precision that rivaled military operations. A human female stood in an open area, speaking softly to a massive wolf whose shoulders reached her waist. At her subtle hand signal, the creature moved silently across the field, navigating obstacles with fluid grace. Another gesture brought the wolf to an immediate halt, its body frozen in perfect stillness, despite its obvious desire to continue moving. "Observe the communication protocols," Velthresh noted. "The wolf understands not just basic commands, but complex sequences of instructions delivered through multiple sensory channels." The training scenarios revealed capabilities that transcended simple obedience. Wolves learned to differentiate between dozens of human individuals, responding appropriately to commands only from specific authorized handlers. They demonstrated problem-solving abilities that required planning and abstract reasoning. In one remarkable demonstration, a wolf was presented with a puzzle that required manipulating several objects in a specific sequence to obtain a reward. The creature studied the challenge, attempted various solutions, and eventually solved the problem through what could only be described as logical deduction. "These are not mindless automatons," Kethara murmured. "They're thinking beings choosing to cooperate." The team expanded their surveillance to include educational facilities where young humans learned to interact with wolf companions. The curriculum included detailed instruction in animal psychology, nutrition, medical care, and ethical treatment protocols that emphasized mutual respect and understanding. "They're teaching their offspring to see these predators as equals rather than possessions," Zinara observed. "The relationship is founded on reciprocal consideration." Children as young as 5 or 6 demonstrated sophisticated understanding of wolf behavior and communication. They recognized subtle body language, indicating stress, excitement, or contentment. More remarkably, they adjusted their own behavior accordingly, showing empathy that crossed species boundaries. The observers watched a small human child carefully approaching a wolf showing signs of anxiety. Instead of forcing interaction, the child sat quietly nearby, allowing the predator to initiate contact when ready. The wolf eventually moved closer, and the child rewarded this trust with gentle attention that visibly calmed the animal. "Interspecies emotional intelligence," Velthresh mused. "They're developing psychological bonds based on mutual understanding, rather than dominance." Medical facilities revealed another dimension of the human-wolf relationship that challenged their assumptions. Specialized veterinary centers provided healthcare for wolf companions that exceeded what many sentient species received. Advanced surgical procedures, preventive care, and rehabilitation services were available regardless of the economic status of the human partners. The team observed a complex surgical procedure where human medical specialists worked to repair a wolf's damaged leg. The predator lay still under anesthesia, while skilled surgeons used advanced techniques to restore full mobility. The level of care and resources devoted to a single animal amazed the observers. They're investing significant societal resources in maintaining the health of these predators, Kethara noted. This suggests the relationship provides benefits that justify substantial costs. Recovery facilities showed wolf companions undergoing physical therapy and rehabilitation, with human assistants who demonstrated remarkable patience and dedication. Some wolves had been injured in accidents, others suffered from genetic disorders, but all received care aimed at returning them to full health and mobility. The emotional component of these interactions continued to puzzle the expedition team. Humans showed genuine distress when their wolf companions suffered, celebrating recovery with obvious joy. The predators displayed similar emotional responses to their human partners' well-being. There's clear evidence of empathetic bonding, Zinara analyzed. Both species experience emotional states influenced by the welfare of the other. Agricultural regions provided insights into the practical applications of human-wolf partnerships. Working relationships had evolved beyond companionship into functional cooperation that benefited both species and the larger human society. The team observed wolves assisting humans in managing other domesticated species. Large wolf companions helped control herds of herbivorous animals, using their predatory instincts in carefully controlled ways that caused no harm while maintaining order. Their presence alone was sufficient to influence the behavior of prey species. They're using predatory psychological pressure as a management tool, Velthresh recognized. Without actual predation, they're achieving behavioral control through evolved fear responses. Mountain regions revealed search and rescue operations, where wolf companions used their superior senses to locate humans lost in wilderness areas. The predators worked tirelessly, following scent trails across difficult terrain for days until they found their targets. Their success rate far exceeded what humans could achieve alone. Urban emergency services employed wolf companions trained to detect specific chemical signatures associated with explosives, illegal substances, or medical conditions. These predators served as living sensors, their biological capabilities enhanced through training to serve human society's security needs. The applications are incredibly diverse, Kethara observed. They've integrated these predators into virtually every aspect of their civilization. Law enforcement agencies used wolf companions as partners in maintaining social order. The predators could track fugitives, detect contraband, and provide protection for human officers in dangerous situations, yet they showed remarkable discrimination, using force only when directed and always under human control. Military applications proved most intriguing to Velthresh, whose species valued tactical efficiency above most other considerations. Wolf companions served alongside human soldiers, providing reconnaissance, communication relay, and combat support in coordinated operations that demonstrated sophisticated strategic thinking. "Watch this patrol formation," he indicated to his colleagues as they observed a wilderness border monitoring operation. The wolves are not simply following orders. They're actively participating in tactical decision-making. Human soldiers and their wolf companions moved through dense forest using communication methods that went beyond verbal commands. The predators used their enhanced senses to detect potential threats, communicating their findings through subtle body language that their human partners interpreted instantly. When the patrol encountered suspicious activity, the wolves took positions without being directed, creating a coordinated response pattern that maximized their natural advantages while supporting human tactical objectives. The level of teamwork suggested years of shared training and mutual trust. "This is combat partnership between species," Velthresh marveled. "They've achieved tactical integration that we consider impossible even within single-species military units." Scientific research facilities revealed another surprising application of human-wolf cooperation. Research teams used wolf companions as partners in field studies, taking advantage of their sensory capabilities and physical endurance to gather data in environments hostile to human physiology. The team observed researchers studying Arctic wildlife accompanied by wolf companions bred for extreme cold tolerance. The predators served as living environmental monitors, their behavior indicating changes in weather patterns, wildlife movements, and geological conditions that human instruments might miss. They're using biological sensors integrated with technological systems, Zinara realized. The wolves provide real-time environmental data, that enhances their scientific capabilities. Geological surveys employed wolf companions, trained to detect specific mineral signatures in soil and rock formations. Their enhanced olfactory capabilities could identify trace elements that indicated valuable mineral deposits, making exploration more efficient and accurate. Oceanographic research vessels carried wolf companions bred for aquatic environments. These modified predators could dive to significant depths, retrieve samples, and monitor underwater conditions, while maintaining the fundamental characteristics that made them effective human partners. The genetic engineering implications staggered the observers. Humans had successfully modified predatory species for dozens of specialized applications, while maintaining the core traits that made the partnership valuable. The technical knowledge required exceeded what most spacefaring civilizations achieved after centuries of research. How did they develop this expertise? Cathara wondered aloud. The genetic manipulation techniques we're observing require scientific understanding that should take millennia to develop. Cultural analysis revealed that human-wolf relationships varied significantly between different populations, yet maintained consistent fundamental principles. Arctic communities bred wolf companions for extreme weather tolerance and endurance. Tropical regions emphasized heat resistance and disease immunity. Mountain peoples focused on altitude adaptation and climbing abilities. Despite these variations, all cultures shared core beliefs about the relationship that transcended practical applications. Wolves were considered family members, worthy of respect and care, regardless of their utility. The bond was viewed as sacred, representing harmony between human civilization and the natural world. It's become integrated into their spiritual and philosophical frameworks, Zinara observed. This goes beyond practical cooperation into the realm of cultural identity. Religious practices in many human cultures incorporated wolves as symbols of loyalty, protection, and the connection between civilized life and wild nature. Stories and myths depicted wolves as guides, guardians, and companions to heroes throughout human history. Educational curricula included mandatory instruction in wolf care and behavior, ensuring that every human understood the responsibilities and benefits of the relationship. Children learned that caring for wolf companions was both a privilege and a duty that connected them to their species' greater heritage. Art, literature, and entertainment media consistently portrayed human-wolf relationships in positive terms, reinforcing cultural values that prioritized cooperation and mutual respect. The predators appeared in countless creative works as symbols of bravery, intelligence, and unwavering devotion. They've created a comprehensive cultural framework that supports and perpetuates these relationships. Cathara analyzed. This isn't just practical cooperation. It's become fundamental to their species' identity. As their second observation cycle concluded, the expedition team found themselves more puzzled than enlightened. Every new discovery raised additional questions about how such impossible relationships had developed and been sustained across human civilization. The sophistication of human genetic manipulation, the complexity of their training methods, and the depth of their emotional bonds with apex predators suggested capabilities that contradicted their apparent evolutionary stage. By all observable metrics, humans should not have been able to achieve such comprehensive domestication of predatory species. We're missing something fundamental, Velthresh admitted. The evidence suggests capabilities that exceed what we observe in their other technological achievements. Zinara's form shimmered with uncertainty. Perhaps we need to examine their historical records. Understanding how this relationship developed might explain the contradictions we're seeing. The team prepared to shift their investigation toward human historical archives and educational systems. They needed to understand the timeline of domestication, the methods used to achieve such remarkable results, and the evolutionary pressures that had shaped both species in this unprecedented partnership. But as they planned their deeper investigation, none of the observers questioned their fundamental assumption about which species in this relationship represented the remarkable achievement in behavioral modification. They continued to view humans as the masterful domesticators who had accomplished the impossible by taming savage predators into gentle companions. The possibility that the situation might be precisely the opposite had not yet occurred to them. Below their ship, millions of humans continued their daily lives with their beloved wolf companions, unaware that their most treasured relationships were being studied by beings who could not imagine that the true story was far more complex and terrifying than anything their advanced civilizations had ever encountered. The Times Nexus Harmony Times positioned itself above a vast human settlement, where massive structures housed millions of historical records and artifacts. Kethara's tendrils quivered with anticipation as she prepared to breach human information systems. Their advanced technology could access digital archives without detection, providing insights into how this impossible relationship had developed. Beginning penetration of their historical databases, Velthresh announced, his forearms working across quantum interfaces. I'm targeting educational institutions and research facilities first. The first records they accessed told a story that initially reinforced their assumptions. Ancient human civilizations had indeed domesticated wolves, gradually breeding them into the thousands of varieties they observe today. The timeline suggested a process spanning roughly 15,000 years, beginning when humans were primitive hunter-gatherers living in small tribal groups. Fascinating, Zinara murmured, her form condensing as she absorbed the data. They achieved this feat while their technology was virtually non-existent. No genetic engineering tools, no understanding of hereditary mechanisms, no scientific methodology. The early records painted a picture of gradual trust building between two species struggling to survive in hostile environments. Wolves apparently began following human hunting parties, scavenging from their kills. Over generations, the boldest wolves formed closer associations with human groups, eventually integrating into their social structures. The initial relationship appears to have been mutually beneficial, Velthresh observed. Wolves gained reliable food sources, while humans acquired enhanced hunting capabilities and protection. But as they delved deeper into the historical records, subtle inconsistencies began to emerge. Archaeological evidence suggested that wolf domestication had occurred simultaneously across multiple continents, despite human populations being separated by vast distances and having no communication between groups. How did isolated populations develop identical domestication techniques? Kethara wondered. The probability of independent parallel development is astronomically low. More puzzling were genetic studies showing that domestic wolf breeds retained far more predatory capability than the observers had initially recognized. While behaviorally gentle toward humans, these creatures possessed hunting instincts and physical capabilities that remained largely intact. They're not truly domesticated in the traditional sense, Velthresh realized as he analyzed the data. They've been selectively modified to suppress aggression toward one specific species while maintaining all other predatory traits. Educational records revealed that human children learned about something called proper pack hierarchy from an early age. The curriculum emphasized understanding and respecting the alpha nature of their wolf companions, while establishing clear leadership roles within mixed-species family units. They're teaching dominance structures, Zinara observed, but not in the way we initially assumed. The team discovered extensive documentation of wolf behavior modification techniques that went far beyond simple training. Humans used complex psychological manipulation methods that influenced pack dynamics and individual predator psychology in sophisticated ways. Look at these behavioral conditioning protocols, Kethara indicated, her tendrils pointing to specific data streams. They're not just training obedience. They're restructuring fundamental predatory social patterns. Military historical records provided more disturbing insights. Human warfare throughout history had consistently employed wolves as combat partners, using their predatory instincts in coordinated attacks that devastated enemy forces. The gentle companions they observed were descendants of creatures bred specifically for battlefield effectiveness. Ancient battle accounts described wolf packs working alongside human warriors in tactical formations that maximized predatory advantages. Wolves would flank enemy positions while humans attacked directly, creating coordinated assaults that combined human intelligence with predatory instincts. These weren't defensive partnerships, Velthresh realized, his analysis becoming more grim. They were offensive, hunting cooperatives designed to increase killing efficiency. Archaeological evidence supported the military records. Excavations of ancient battlefields revealed remains of humans and wolves buried together, often with weapons and armor, suggesting they had died fighting as integrated units. The emotional bonds the observers had witnessed had clearly existed even in these violent contexts. The relationship maintained its emotional foundation even during organized violence, Zinara noted. They've preserved loyalty and affection, while directing predatory capabilities toward specific targets. Medical records revealed another troubling pattern. Humans had developed extensive knowledge of wolf physiology, psychology, and genetics through what could only be described as systematic experimentation. The depth of their understanding suggested centuries of deliberate study and manipulation. They've conducted comprehensive biological research on their companions, Cathara observed. The level of knowledge indicates scientific investigation that goes far beyond casual observation. Breeding records showed human intervention in wolf reproduction for thousands of generations. They had controlled mating selection with precision that produced specific traits, while eliminating characteristics deemed undesirable. The genetic modification had been extensive and purposeful. This is systematic species engineering, Relentless concluded. They've reshaped these predators according to predetermined objectives across millennia. Cultural anthropological studies revealed that wolf symbolism in human societies consistently emphasized concepts of loyalty, obedience, and service to hierarchical authority structures. Religious and mythological traditions portrayed wolves as faithful servants to human leaders and heroes. The cultural framework reinforces power dynamics, Zinara realized. They've created belief systems that justify and perpetuate human dominance over apex predators. Historical economic records showed that wolf breeding and training had become major industries in human societies. Specialized bloodlines commanded enormous prices, with some individual wolves valued more highly than vast areas of territory or advanced technological equipment. They've commercialized the relationship, Cathara noted with growing unease. These predators have become commodities in their economic systems. Legal documents revealed complex ownership structures governing human-wolf relationships. Wolves were classified as property, subject to inheritance laws and commercial transactions. Yet the same legal systems imposed severe penalties for mistreating these possessions, suggesting conflicted attitudes toward the predator's status. They simultaneously view them as beloved family members and valuable property, Relentless observed. The psychological dynamics are more complex than we initially understood. Criminal justice records provided the most disturbing revelations yet. Human societies had consistently used wolves as tools for tracking, capturing, and sometimes executing individuals deemed threats to social order. The same predators that served as gentle companions to law-abiding citizens became instruments of terror for those who violated human social norms. They've weaponized the emotional bonds, Zinara whispered, her form flickering with distress. The wolves' loyalty to humans is exploited to enforce human social structures through violence. Prison systems employed wolf guards to prevent escapes and maintain order among human inmates. The predator's presence alone was sufficient to control potentially dangerous humans, their psychological effect exceeding their physical capabilities. Fear-based behavioral control, Cathara identified. They're using predatory psychological pressure to maintain social discipline. Intelligence agency documents revealed that wolves had been used for surveillance, infiltration, and assassination missions throughout human history. Their natural abilities had been enhanced through training to create living weapons that could operate independently while remaining under human control. These aren't companions, Relentless stated grimly. They're tools. Sophisticated, loyal, emotional tools, but tools nonetheless. Scientific research records showed ongoing experiments in genetic modification aimed at enhancing wolf capabilities for human purposes. Projects included improving sensory abilities, increasing physical strength, enhancing intelligence, and developing resistance to various environmental hazards. They continue to modify these predators, Zinara observed. The relationship isn't static. They're actively improving their companions for increased utility. Corporate documents revealed massive industries devoted to wolf-related products and services. Food, medical care, training, entertainment, and countless other sectors had developed to support human-wolf relationships, generating enormous profits while perpetuating dependency. The economic integration is total, Cathara realized. They've built significant portions of their civilization around maintaining these relationships. Educational psychological studies showed that human children raised with wolf companions developed specific personality traits that differed from those raised without predator contact. The presence of wolves influenced human psychological development in ways that reinforced hierarchical thinking and acceptance of power structures. The relationship shapes human psychology as much as wolf behavior, Relentless noted. Both species have been modified by the interaction. Archaeological evidence from the earliest human settlements revealed hunting sites where humans and wolves had worked together to bring down prey animals much larger than either species could tackle alone. The cooperation had provided survival advantages that enabled both species to expand into new territories. The partnership began as a hunting alliance, Zinara concluded. Mutual predatory cooperation for more effective killing. Genetic studies showed that human populations with longer histories of wolf domestication had developed specific traits related to communication, empathy, and social organization. The relationship had influenced human evolution in measurable ways. Co-evolution, Kethara breathed. Both species have been shaped by the partnership, but humans maintained control of the process. Ancient artwork and literature revealed consistently violent themes in human-wolf partnerships. Stories depicted joint hunting expeditions, battles against enemies, and dominant struggles within mixed species groups. The gentle companionship they had observed was apparently a recent development. The emotional bonds existed alongside organized violence for millennia, Relentless realized. They've maintained affection while directing predatory capabilities toward specific purposes. Military training manuals detailed methods for conditioning wolves to overcome their natural reluctance to attack specific target types. The psychological manipulation techniques were sophisticated enough to redirect predatory instincts while preserving emotional bonds with human handlers. They've learned to compartmentalize the relationship, Zinara observed with growing horror. Wolves can be loving companions at home and efficient killers in combat situations. Historical migration patterns showed that human expansion into new territories had consistently been accompanied by wolves, with both species working together to displace existing predator populations. The partnership had provided competitive advantages in colonization efforts. They've used wolves as tools for territorial expansion, Kethara noted. Predator-assisted colonization has been a consistent human strategy. As their investigation of human historical records continued, the expedition team found themselves confronting a truth that challenged their fundamental assumptions about the relationship they had observed. What they had initially viewed as remarkable achievement in domestication was beginning to look like something far more calculated and disturbing. We need to examine their current research programs, Relentless suggested. Understanding their ongoing objectives might clarify what we're actually observing. The team prepared to investigate human scientific institutions and military research facilities. They suspected that the gentle relationships they had witnessed might be only one aspect of a much more complex and potentially sinister dynamic between humans and the predators they had brought under their control. But even as evidence mounted that humans had systematically manipulated and exploited wolves throughout their shared history, the observers still failed to question their most basic assumption, that humans were the ones in control of this relationship. They could not yet imagine that the true predators might be the ones who had learned to inspire such absolute loyalty and devotion in apex hunters, turning their natural instincts into tools for purposes far beyond anything the wolves themselves could comprehend. Below their ship, the gentle daily interactions continued unchanged, while in hidden facilities, human researchers worked on projects that would have terrified the alien observers had they fully understood the implications of what they were discovering about human nature itself. The Times Nexus Harmony Times descended toward a remote human research facility nestled deep within a mountain range. Kethara's sensory tendrils detected multiple layers of security systems, protecting whatever activities occurred within the heavily fortified complex. Their investigation of human historical records had raised disturbing questions that demanded answers. Beginning deep scans of the facility, Relentless announced, his forearms working to penetrate the installation's defensive networks. I'm detecting significant biological research activity. What they discovered within the facility's databases sent shockwaves through the expedition team's understanding of everything they had observed. Current research projects focused on genetic modification programs that made their historical findings seem primitive by comparison. Look at Project Enhancement Protocol 7, Zenara gasped, her gaseous form flickering with distress. They're developing wolves with increased muscle mass, enhanced sensory capabilities, and modified neural structures for improved tactical coordination. The research went far beyond simple breeding programs. Human scientists were actively engineering predators with capabilities that exceeded anything nature had produced. Enhanced wolves with improved night vision, increased bite force, accelerated healing abilities, and neurological modifications that allowed more complex communication with human handlers. They're creating super predators, Velthresh realized, his voice carrying harmonics of growing alarm. These aren't companions. They're weapons being developed for purposes we haven't yet identified. Deeper scans revealed military research divisions working on combat applications that defied the peaceful relationships they had initially observed. Wolf squadrons trained for urban warfare, Arctic operations, and even space-based missions where their modified biology could function in hostile environments. Space-capable predators, Kethara whispered. They're preparing for conflicts beyond their homeworld. The facility's biological laboratories contained research into human genetic modification as well. Scientists were studying the enhancement of human hunting instincts, improved coordination with modified wolves, and increased resistance to psychological stress during violent operations. Both species are being modified simultaneously, Zenara observed. They're optimizing the partnership for maximum predatory effectiveness. Training programs within the facility revealed the true nature of human-wolf cooperation. Combat scenarios where humans and wolves work together to eliminate targets with ruthless efficiency. The gentle interactions they had observed were merely one aspect of relationships that included sophisticated killing techniques. Watch this training exercise, Velthresh indicated, highlighting surveillance footage from the facility. Human soldiers and their wolf partners moved through simulated urban environments, systematically eliminating opposition forces with coordinated tactics that maximized their respective capabilities. The humans used intelligence and tool manipulation to create tactical advantages, while wolves provided enhanced senses, speed, and direct physical assault capabilities. Together, they formed hunting partnerships more effective than either species could achieve independently. Apex predator cooperation, Kethara realized with growing horror. We've been observing the domestication of one predator species by another. Psychological research files revealed studies on human emotional manipulation techniques used to inspire absolute loyalty in modified wolves. The affection and devotion they had witnessed were not natural developments, but the result of systematic conditioning programs designed to create unquestioning obedience. The emotional bonds are manufactured, Zenara stated, her form shimmering with distress. Humans have learned to exploit predatory pack loyalty instincts for their own purposes. Communication protocols showed that human-wolf partnerships used sophisticated signaling systems that allowed complex coordination during hunting activities. Hand gestures, vocal commands, and even scent markers provided multi-layered communication networks that enabled precision teamwork in high-stress situations. They've developed interspecies tactical languages, Velthresh analyzed. Communication systems specifically designed for coordinated hunting and combat operations. Research into human physiology revealed capabilities that the expedition team had completely overlooked in their initial observations. Humans possessed remarkable endurance, allowing them to pursue prey across vast distances until exhaustion made targets vulnerable. Their intelligence enabled complex planning and tool use that amplified their natural hunting abilities. We missed the obvious, Kethara admitted. We were so focused on the wolves that we ignored the predatory characteristics of their partners. Biomechanical studies showed that human locomotion was optimized for persistence hunting, a technique where predators pursued prey over extended periods until exhaustion led to capture. Combined with wolf speed and sensory capabilities, this created hunting partnerships capable of bringing down almost any target. Persistence predation enhanced by wolf support, Velthresh concluded. No prey species could escape this combination of endurance and acute senses. Anthropological research within the facility documented human hunting behaviors across different cultures and historical periods. Every human society had developed sophisticated hunting techniques, often involving coordination with wolf partners to increase success rates. Universal predatory behavior, Zenara observed. Hunting appears to be a fundamental human characteristic, regardless of cultural development. Nutritional studies revealed that human digestive systems were optimized for processing both plant and animal matter, with particular efficiency in metabolizing proteins from prey animals. Their omnivorous capabilities provided survival advantages that enabled expansion into diverse environments. Adaptable predators, Kethera noted. They can survive in environments where specialized predators would fail. Neurological research showed that human brain structures included regions specifically dedicated to predatory activities. Neural pathways for tracking, stalking, killing, and processing prey were deeply embedded in their cognitive architecture. Hardwired hunting instincts, Velthresh realized. Their intelligence has evolved to support predatory activities. Social psychology studies revealed that human group dynamics were based on pack hierarchies similar to wolf social structures. Leadership patterns, resource distribution, and territory defense showed clear predatory organizational principles. Pack predators, Zinara breathed. They organized themselves according to hunting group dynamics. Historical genetic analysis traced human evolution through periods of intense predatory pressure that had shaped their development toward increased hunting efficiency. Tool use, intelligence, communication, and cooperation had all evolved as adaptations for more effective predation. They're the result of evolutionary pressure toward becoming superior predators, Kethara concluded. Everything about their development has been shaped by hunting requirements. Current military research programs focused on developing human-wolf partnerships for conflicts with other sentient species. Training scenarios included combat against various alien physiologies, suggesting preparation for interstellar warfare. They're preparing to hunt us, Velthresh stated with stark clarity. These programs are designed for predatory activities against spacefaring civilizations. Xenobiological studies within the facility contained research on the physiology and psychology of various known galactic species, including detailed analyses of Veil Nari, Eth Mori, and Keth Nari vulnerabilities. They know about us, Zinara whispered, her form condensing with fear. They've been studying galactic species as potential prey. Intelligence-gathering protocols showed that humans had been monitoring galactic communications and analyzing the behavioral patterns of spacefaring civilizations. They possessed detailed knowledge of trade routes, political structures, and military capabilities across multiple star systems. Systematic prey assessment, Kethera realized. They've been evaluating our civilizations for weaknesses. Research into space-capable hunting techniques revealed programs for developing wolf breeds that could function in zero-gravity environments and hostile atmospheric conditions. Combined with human tool use and planning abilities, these programs aim to create hunting partnerships effective across multiple worlds. Interstellar predators, Velthresh concluded with growing alarm. They're developing capabilities for hunting across space. Communication interception logs showed that humans had been monitoring the expedition's own transmissions, analyzing their technology and behavioral patterns. The team realized they had been under observation from the moment they entered the system. We're being hunted right now, Zinara gasped. They've identified us as potential prey. Deep within the facility's archives, the team discovered the most terrifying revelation yet. Historical records of human expansion into new territories consistently showed the same pattern. Observation, analysis, infiltration, and eventual displacement of existing populations. It's their standard procedure, Kethara realized. They study potential prey, identify vulnerabilities, and then systematically eliminate competition. Evidence suggested that humans had already eliminated several sentient species on their own world through coordinated hunting campaigns. Archaeological sites revealed the remains of intelligent beings that had once shared the planet with humans and wolves. They've done this before, Velthresh stated grimly. We're observing the survivors of a planetary hunting campaign that eliminated all other sentient life. The gentle relationships between humans and wolves suddenly took on a completely different meaning. What they had interpreted as remarkable domestication was actually a predator alliance between two species that had cooperated to eliminate all potential competitors. The wolves aren't domesticated, Zinara realized. They're partners. Junior partners in a predatory relationship that has dominated an entire world. Research projects focused on expanding this partnership to function across galactic distances. plans for establishing human wolf colonies on worlds throughout the galaxy, systematically hunting down existing populations and claiming territory for their own expansion. Galactic colonization through predatory displacement, Kethera concluded. They intend to hunt their way across the galaxy. Military strategic plans revealed detailed invasion scenarios for multiple star systems, including the home worlds of every major galactic civilization. Human intelligence had identified weak points in planetary defenses and population centers that could be systematically eliminated. They're planning to hunt us all, Velthresh realized with crystalline clarity. Every spacefaring species in the galaxy is on their target list. The expedition team found themselves confronting a truth more terrifying than anything in their collective experience. What they had initially viewed as a remarkable achievement in interspecies cooperation was actually evidence of the most successful predatory alliance in galactic history. Humans had not domesticated wolves. They had formed a hunting partnership with apex predators and used that alliance to eliminate every other sentient species on their world. Now they were preparing to expand their hunting territory to encompass the entire galaxy. "We need to warn the Galactic Cooperative," Kethara declared, her tendrils vibrating with urgency. Every civilization is in immediate danger. But as they prepared to transmit their warnings, the ship's sensors detected multiple human vessels approaching their position. The gentle planet below had revealed its true nature as the homeworld of predators more dangerous than anything their advanced civilizations had ever encountered. "They've been tracking us," Velthresh announced with grim finality. "The hunt has already begun." The Times Nexus Harmony Times found itself surrounded by human ships equipped with technology that matched or exceeded their own capabilities. The predators they had underestimated were about to demonstrate why they had successfully eliminated every other sentient species in their star system. "Incoming transmission from the lead human vessel," Zinara reported, her form flickering between states as fear overwhelmed her natural stability. On their communication screens appeared a human face, accompanied by a large wolf whose intelligent eyes surveyed the alien observers with unmistakable predatory assessment. The human smiled with an expression that revealed the truth about the gentle species they had thought they understood. "Welcome to our territory," the human said, his voice carrying undertones of barely contained violence. "We've been waiting to meet our new neighbors." The expedition team realized they were not observers of an impossible domestication success story. They were prey that had voluntarily entered the territory of predators more sophisticated and dangerous than anything in their accumulated galactic knowledge. And somewhere in the depths of space around them, human voices coordinated with wolf-pack communications as the hunt began for the first galactic prey to venture within range of the most efficient killers the universe had ever produced. The human fleet surrounded the Times Nexus Harmony Times with tactical precision that revealed centuries of coordinated hunting experience. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Times Persistence Asterisk, her wolf companion Atlas beside her, both studying the alien vessel with the focused attention of apex predators, evaluating cornered prey. "Analysis complete," reported Lieutenant Morrison, her own wolf partner Scout providing enhanced sensory input through their neural interface. 3 distinct alien physiologies aboard their vessel, Vale Nari, Eth Mori, and what appears to be a Keth Nari expedition team. Captain Chen nodded, her fingers absently stroking Atlas's muscular neck. The massive wolf's eyes never left the alien ship's main viewing ports, where frightened faces occasionally appeared. "Standard first contact protocols. Remember, we want them functional for questioning." Aboard the Times Nexus Harmony Asterisk, the expedition team struggled to comprehend their situation. Keth Era's sensory tendrils curled defensively as she watched human ships position themselves to eliminate any possibility of escape. The tactical formation demonstrated strategic thinking that exceeded anything in their military databases. "They're not just surrounding us," Velthresh observed, his forearms working frantically to analyze the human vessels. "They're herding us into a kill zone." The human ships moved with synchronized precision that indicated real-time coordination between multiple crews and their wolf partners. Communication systems that combined human technology with enhanced predator-pack dynamics allowed instant tactical adjustments that kept the alien vessel trapped. "This is Captain Chen of the United Earth Systems Fleet," came the transmission from the lead human vessel. You've entered sovereign human territory without authorization. Prepare to be boarded for processing. Zinara's gaseous form flickered with terror as she recognized the terminology. Processing was the term predators used when converting prey into usable resources. The humans weren't planning rescue or diplomacy. They were beginning a harvest operation. We should attempt communication, Kethara suggested desperately. Perhaps we can negotiate. With what? Velthresh responded grimly. We have nothing they want except information about galactic civilization vulnerabilities. The first human transport approached the alien vessel with careful precision. Through the viewing ports, the expedition team could see human soldiers in advanced armor, accompanied by wolves bred specifically for space operations. The predators moved with ease in zero gravity, their modified biology allowing perfect coordination with their human partners. Boarding clamps engaged, announced the transport pilot. Beginning hull penetration. Cutting tools designed to breach alien metallurgy began opening the Times Nexus Harmony's Times hull, while wolf companions used enhanced senses to detect defensive measures. The coordinated assault demonstrated hunting techniques perfected over countless similar operations. Inside the alien vessel, the expedition team faced an impossible choice. Their technology was insufficient to escape, and their defensive capabilities had been neutralized by jammers that prevented communication with galactic civilization. We could try to fight, Velthresh suggested, though his voice carried no conviction. His species were traders and explorers, not warriors. Their experience with violence was limited to theoretical study. Against predators who have eliminated every competing species on their world? Zinara responded. We wouldn't survive the first contact. The hull breach completed with surgical precision. Human soldiers and their wolf partners flowed into the alien vessel like water, moving through unfamiliar corridors with practiced efficiency. Their armor displayed readouts provided by wolf sensory input, creating perfect environmental awareness. 3 life forms located, reported Sergeant Williams, her wolf companion ranger sniffing the air to confirm species identification. Vale Nari in the observation chamber, Eth Mori near the navigation center, Keth Nari in what appears to be their analysis room. The humans moved to secure each alien separately, understanding that different species required different containment methods. Their preparation for this encounter had been thorough. Based on detailed study of galactic species vulnerabilities, Kethara found herself surrounded by armored figures whose wolf companions studied her with predatory interest. The creatures showed no aggression toward the humans but regarded her as nothing more than a resource to be processed according to human requirements. Do not resist, advised the lead soldier, his voice filtered through armor systems. Compliance will result in more comfortable processing conditions. The clinical terminology masked the reality that she was being captured by predators who viewed sentient beings as prey. The gentle relationships she had observed between humans and wolves now revealed their true purpose: training apex predators to hunt anything their human partners designated as targets. Velthresh attempted to access his ship's defensive systems, but found them completely disabled by human technology that anticipated every countermeasure. The jamming systems prevented communication, while data extraction programs began copying every file in their archives. They're stealing our entire database, he realized with horror. Every piece of information about galactic civilization, trade routes, planetary defenses, species characteristics. Sergeant Martinez and her wolf companion Blaze worked systematically through the ship's computer systems. Their partnership combining human technical skills with enhanced canine pattern recognition. Together, they extracted information faster than automated systems could achieve. Download complete, Martinez reported. Full galactic database acquired, including detailed information on 43 spacefaring species and their home worlds. The information would be analyzed by human intelligence specialists working alongside wolves bred for enhanced cognitive abilities. Every weakness, every vulnerability, every potential advantage would be cataloged and prepared for exploitation. Zinara found herself contained within a portable atmospheric processor, designed specifically for gaseous life forms. The device demonstrated sophisticated understanding of her species' biology, suggesting extensive prior study and preparation. How long have you been planning this? She managed to ask her captors. Since we first detected galactic communications, replied Captain Chen's voice through the containment unit speakers. We've been preparing for first contact for over 2 centuries. The revelation that humans had known about galactic civilization while remaining hidden demonstrated predatory patience that exceeded anything in their accumulated experience. Most species announced their presence upon achieving space travel. Humans had chosen to remain silent while studying potential prey. "What do you want from us?" Kethara demanded, as she was secured in a specialized containment unit designed for her species' unique physiology. "Information first," Captain Chen replied, "then demonstration." The expedition team was transported to the human flagship, where they were separated into individual interrogation chambers. Each room was designed specifically for their species' requirements, while incorporating psychological pressure techniques refined through centuries of predatory experience. The interrogation process revealed the full scope of human preparation for galactic expansion. They possessed detailed intelligence on every major civilization, complete knowledge of trade networks and resource distribution, and comprehensive military assessments of planetary defense capabilities. "You've been watching us for centuries," Velthresh realized during his questioning session. "Studying," corrected Dr. Elizabeth Harrison, the human xenobiologist conducting his interview. Her wolf companion Sage sat nearby, providing emotional and psychological assessment of the aliens' responses, learning your weaknesses, understanding your societies, preparing for optimal hunting strategies. The humans had developed specific tactical approaches for each galactic species. Veil Nari sensory tendrils made them vulnerable to frequency disruption weapons. Ethmori gaseous forms could be contained using atmospheric manipulation technology. Kethnari exoskeletons had weak points that could be exploited by coordinated human-wolf hunting teams. "Your civilizations are remarkably fragile," Dr. Harrison observed clinically. "Thousands of years of peaceful development have eliminated most defensive instincts. You've forgotten how to fight predators." Oh. The interrogation revealed that galactic civilization had evolved along paths that eliminated predatory species or relegated them to minor roles. Peace, cooperation, and mutual benefit had become fundamental principles that made them vulnerable to organized predation. "We represent something your civilizations have never encountered," Dr. Harrison continued. "Intelligent predators who have perfected cooperation instead of abandoning it." Human civilization had developed along opposite principles. Intelligence, technology, and social organization had all evolved to support predatory activities. They had not abandoned their hunting instincts but had refined them into tools for systematic expansion. The wolf partnership was crucial, Dr. Harrison explained, as Sage provided real-time emotional analysis of Velthresh's responses. "It taught us that cooperation between predator species could achieve results impossible for individual hunters. The relationship had shaped both species into something unique in galactic history." Humans provided intelligence, planning, and technological capabilities. Wolves contributed enhanced senses, physical capabilities, and pack coordination instincts. Together, they formed hunting partnerships more effective than anything evolution had previously produced. "Your mistake was assuming that domestication meant subordination," Dr. Harrison noted. "Wolves aren't our servants. They're our partners. Junior partners, but partners nonetheless." The revelation that humans viewed wolves as partners rather than tools explained the emotional bonds the expedition had observed. Mutual respect between predators enhanced cooperation while maintaining the hunting instincts that made both species effective. "What happens to us now?" Velthresh asked, though he suspected the answer. "You'll be returning to your home worlds," Dr. Harrison replied. "With modifications." The modifications were neural implants that would allow human monitoring and control of the expedition team's actions. They would return to galactic civilization as unwitting agents, providing intelligence while encouraging their species to maintain peaceful policies that made them vulnerable to predation. "We'll be watching through your eyes," Dr. Harrison explained. "Learning about defensive preparations, monitoring military developments, identifying optimal targets for initial strikes. The expedition team would become advanced scouts for a predatory expansion that would systematically hunt galactic civilization into extinction. Their own species would be among the early targets, eliminated by information they unknowingly provided." "Why are you telling us this?" Kethara demanded, during her own questioning session. "Because you need to understand what you're helping us accomplish," replied Commander Jackson, his wolf companion Thunder providing psychological pressure through controlled intimidation techniques. Unwilling cooperation is less effective than informed partnership. The humans offered a choice that was no choice at all. Serve as willing scouts for human expansion and watch their civilizations die quickly. Refuse and watch them die slowly, as humans systematically eliminated all galactic species through prolonged hunting campaigns. "Your civilizations will end regardless," Commander Jackson stated, with predatory certainty. "The only question is how many of your people survive the transition to human-controlled territory. Some species might be preserved in managed populations, like the various creatures humans maintained on their homeworld. Others would be completely eliminated as unnecessary competition for resources and territory. The galaxy belongs to predators now," Commander Jackson concluded. "You can either help us claim it efficiently or watch us take it through methods that leave nothing behind." The expedition team realized they were witnessing the beginning of the galaxy's transformation from a cooperative civilization into a predatory empire. Humans and their wolf partners would systematically hunt down every spacefaring species until only apex predators remained. "When do we return?" Zinara asked, her form barely maintaining cohesion under the psychological pressure of her situation. "Immediately," replied Dr. Sarah Kim, her wolf companion Nova, providing emotional support during the conditioning process. "Your absence has already been noted. Extended delay might prompt defensive preparations we're not ready to counter." The expedition team was prepared for return with their neural implants active and detailed instructions for gathering intelligence. They would report their discoveries as evidence of remarkable domestication achievements, while secretly transmitting strategic information to human command centers. "Remember," Captain Chen addressed them in final briefing, Atlas beside her displaying the calm confidence of an apex predator preparing for a successful hunt, "Your species' survival depends on how effectively you help us understand galactic defensive capabilities." The Times Nexus Harmony Times was released with modifications to its communication systems that would relay all transmissions to human monitoring stations. The expedition team departed, believing they were free while actually serving as the first tools in humanity's systematic conquest of galactic civilization. Behind them, the human fleet began preparations for the largest hunting campaign in their species' history. Thousands of ships equipped with human crews and their wolf partners would soon spread across the galaxy, eliminating every trace of the peaceful civilizations that had dared to exist in territory that apex predators now claimed as their own. As the alien vessel disappeared into hyperspace carrying its unknowing agents, Captain Chen stroked Atlas's powerful neck and smiled with the satisfaction of a predator whose hunt had exceeded all expectations. "Signal the fleet," she ordered. "Begin Phase 2 of galactic integration." Throughout human space, thousands of vessels received the command that would transform the galaxy from a network of peaceful civilizations into a hunting ground where only the most efficient predators would survive. The gentle wolves that had charmed 3 naive observers were about to demonstrate why they had earned the loyalty and partnership of the most dangerous species the universe had ever produced. The hunt for galactic civilization was about to begin, and its outcome had been determined the moment the first prey entered human territory. In the depths of space, Wolfpack Communications coordinated with human tactical networks as the greatest predatory alliance in galactic history prepared to claim its natural dominion over every world that harbored potential prey. The age of cooperation was ending. The age of predators had begun.